We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies are devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
Truth Seekers, I want to welcome you to Why the Big Secret. It is Monday night and definitely not Monday Night Football, but we are going to be talking about something I think is very important, and it's all about the psychological impact that these UFOs and extraterrestrials encounters have on people, and maybe yourself if you've had one, but if not, we're going to discuss it a little bit. And so I want you to get prepared for the show tonight. Got a lot of questions for you. Definitely want you to get involved in the conversation. And we're going to be discussing several topics within this conversation. One in particular is going to be the history of the human fascination with the extraterrestrial life. We'll go over some key points with that as well. And that will take us into the impact of science fiction, the people's perception when it comes down to extraterrestrial life. We'll get into the psychological reasons why people are drawn to the idea of extraterrestrial life. And then going down into the show, we'll get into the psychological impact of UFO sightings when it comes down to encounters with people as well. So, and then we'll touch a little bit on the reasons why UFO sightings and extraterrestrials encounters can be impactful. And maybe you, like I say, some of you who've had some impact will kind of know about this a little bit. And then we'll go to the last part of it is, why do some people believe that they have had an extraterrestrial encounter? We get a lot of people that reports things and not really for sure if they had one or not, but we will definitely talk about it from there as well. Let me give a quick shout out to the Truth Seekers that's in the chat today. We got Magneticus is in the house. Let me go back to the beginning. We got Olivia, we got Wolfman, Always Have the Strength is in the house. Serious Poems is in the house. Reggie, King James, Byron, and let's see, Northern Downpour, Soulful Essence, and Cassiopeia, and Sunshine. And then if I missed you, again, charge it to the mind and not the heart, because we will get into those things. So we're going to have some, this is going to be conversation. There's going to be some dialogue. So definitely want you to get involved with the conversation. And if and I'll look into the chat from here and there, and we will go over a few things from there. But like I said, we're going to talk about that psychological impact that these extraterrestrial encounters have on people. And so the first question, I'm just going to dive right into it as we can get into things. And the first question is, why are people fascinated with the idea of extraterrestrial life? And that's going to go into us discussing the history when it comes down to this. And we'll start there. But then if you have something you want to put into the conversation, definitely why that people are fascinated with extraterrestrial life, put it in chat. We'll check it out. We can go there. We'll go into the ancient civilizations such as the Greeks. We're talking Romans, Egyptians. They all had myths and beliefs when it came down to what we call these gods and otherworldly beings. And so this is something that has been going on. So we know we got a lot of books out there. Billy Carson talks about the ancient Egyptians, and we get all of these stories. So it's been around for quite some time. In fact, in the 17th and 18th centuries, we have had philosophers such as Bruno, whatever his name, Gustavus Bruno, I forget. But anyway, and Isaac Newton, we all have heard of him, proposed the idea that the universe is infinite, right? And then he said, therefore, must contain other life forms. And I know a lot of people have talked about that all the time, that is there other life forms out there? That's one of the questions that I get when people ask me, Rod, over alone in the universe, is there more life forms out there? And of course, we now tend to know that there probably is. And so that's why there's going to be some psychological impact when it gets down to people, when it comes down to this tonight from there. Let me put up here today, especially for those of you who want to support the show. And if we want to put up this little, let me do the tag here. So that we can do that. As always, as you know, your support of what we do is very important. We got a lot of things coming up that you're going to really be happy with from there. So anyway, we'll start there. So today's show is sponsored by no one. And if you want to be the person that do it, we prefer, like I said before, the Cash App is the best way to begin that process. And I do appreciate it because we're doing some great stuff. Now, back to the 20th century. So let me talk about that. Saw an explosion when it came down to the interest of extraterrestrial life when we talk about discovery on other planets. I mean, you're talking TV shows, you're talking people, posts, memes, and all of these things, when there was a time that it was more hush-hush when it came down to having these conversations. A lot of people wouldn't do that. But now I think time has changed. Now, Brian says people are drawn to the idea of ETs because that's part of human origins. Well, a lot of people don't feel that way, though, Brian. A lot of people, especially when you get into the religious factions, they probably don't have that conversation. So therefore, you probably wouldn't get that connection that people will be drawn into that. But we're going to discuss more about that tonight anyway, so we'll get into it. Another thing is we're talking about the impact of science, of alien, when it comes down to science fictions. Have a variety of things that's out there where they're showing whether these are benevolent beings, and then of course you got shows that showing or science thinking that could be malevolent and dangerous. So those are a lot of different stories. So what of your opinion, most of you, when it comes down to these extraterrestrial encounters, the stories? Give me a 1 for people who feel, once again, I think if I asked it before, do you perceive this being more a benevolent type of situation? And 2, if you think we can go into malevolent, and so we can do that. And so those are things that we will discuss once we go down the rabbit hole as we do. Native V said curiosity in species other than ourselves, maybe. That is true. I think a lot of people's always curiosity has gotten the cat since we've been knowing about the curiosity world, I should say, not world, but the impact. Everybody's always wanting to know when it comes down. Christine says 1 and 2. Celeste says 1. Soulful says 1 and 2, but mostly 1 And Casapia said neutral. They can be both. Jay Muhammad said greetings, and he says one. That's great. So I appreciate you all really get into the conversation. Let's get into the impact of science fiction on people's perception when it comes down to extraterrestrial life. Number one, science fiction literature. We're talking movies, TV shows, all have popularized the idea of aliens and other forms in life in more what I call the public imagination, especially when we talk about some of the movies out there, right? If you go back to, if you're my age, you can remember the one E.T. Phone Home or E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Yeah, I gave it all, what these children had hidden this E.T. and he was trying to get back home. That's one thing. And but then when you get back into Independence Day and all that particular series, they came to kick some whoop butts on us, right? And so that's a whole different story when it comes down to it from there. So we'll get into that. We'll definitely get into that as well when it gets down to it. Once again, welcome anyone, the new people that have come in tonight. And so definitely hit the like button, and we're going to share this video when we get down to YouTube when it's over. Another part of depiction of aliens in science fiction is also varied from benevolent, as we said before, to friendly to dangerous, but it also has explored the ideas of interstellar communication and the possibility of human-alien interactions. I was just watching a movie the other day, and they got that movie Contact. They got that movie, I forget the one where they came and they were splitting all these little googly things on the walls, and all of this was boiled down to, we got contact. And most of the storylines of some of these movies had it where we were sending some type of signal out, and therefore we got some type of response. I'm watching some series now called War of the Worlds. It's not the Tom Cruise movie. It's another one. And this, The Arrival. Jay, you're correct. And some of them at this point, they all do the same storyline where we send some signals out and then course signals back. But in this one, they was like, they're searching for us. It's like they don't even know we out here either. It's almost like most of them are out there doing all this stuff. So Nicole says the Contact movie, and that was pretty cool too. When Jodie Foster, I think she was playing in that. But then it got pretty weird when they lost went into this thing and had the loss of time, and that's when I was like, yeah, okay, it's not as good as it's going to be when it gets down to that. But what I'm saying is that's another thing that Hollywood has done a great job of making us sit here and be fascinated with the fact of these UFOs, extraterrestrials, and all of those things. So that's something for us to truly think about it. But Brian says more than fascination. Okay, that's cool. Wolfman said they went to Men in Black and put UFOs back in comedy. Well, you know what? It's how they're going to do it. Always have strengths as science fiction has opened up awareness of true possibilities for sure. Yeah, and it has. And like in the movie Contact, what Nicole just said, they lost the track of time for 9 hours and stuff. And that whole thing just blew me away. And I'm like, okay, fine. Come back and it was nothing. And especially when she saw her father, in the other part of things. It's like the imagination, I'm like, okay, fine. We're not going to go there. All right. So another psychological reasons why people are drawn to the idea of extraterrestrials. And let me give you a few right now. The concept of extraterrestrial life provides a sense of wonder, right? We know that, and expands on the understanding of the universe. And it plays with our everyday psyche. People do it every day. And so I think it's something that we would do. All right. Okay. So we have our first sponsor of the show kicking things off. I want to make sure I add it in here right now. And let's do it. Let's do it. So I want y'all to give a shout out. Let me put it here. Let me put it here right now. All right. So y'all give a shout out to our first sponsor of the show tonight. And that will be here. It is now saved, and let's show. All right. So Native V, $50. You guys make sure that everybody right now in the house, give Native V a shout out right now. Cashed out the $50 to be the sponsor of tonight's show. And y'all got to understand, these shows going to be around for a long, long time. We're going to have these shows around a very long time, and we can do that. Keel said, I started watching the War of the Worlds Series 2. Won't spoil it, but interesting take on who the aliens actually are. I haven't got to that part yet. I think I'm in a episode 1 or something where they the guy walks out, and people are now finding him, or they're hearing this noise or whatever it was, or the cloud cover or whatever the thing. I think I'm in the first episodes or whatever. So I'm going to check it out from there. But anyway, give a shout out to Native V, everyone, for sponsoring the show, $50. And if anyone else want to make any contributions, the Cash App is up there. You can use Super Chat as well if you like. Cash App is more in the immediate impact. We can do that. So, all right, where can I find and watch this series? I think I'm watching it on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. That is where I think, or either, is it Netflix? It may be Netflix, one of the two. Amazon or Netflix is, I think that's where I'm watching it. Another psychological reason why people are drawn to the idea of extraterrestrial life is that people are curious about the possibility of life beyond Earth. We know that. People's been around. Potential for scientific discoveries and technological advancements that could result in contact with extraterrestrial life. Now, that would be probably the agenda of our military complex, right? They definitely want, somebody tell me where's your vegetables? In the fridge. But the military industrial complex has always been after the technological advancements of extraterrestrial technology, from crash retrievals, you name it. And it's probably the mainstay within our military, because whoever, no matter what country it is, if whoever gets hold to the alien tech where they can control it, wins the game. Make no mistake about it, they will win the game. Sent a few coins on Cash App. Did you get it? When was it, today or the other day? I haven't got anything today, but I think I got something the other day, Celeste. Was it a few days ago? All right. So, but either way, if you did, thank you, and I'm sure I did. I think it was the other night something came in through Cash App, but yeah. So our military-industrial complex want the technology. We have to have it. A few minutes ago. No, let me see. I haven't seen anything. Let me look. I only got notice from the greatness. Yes, I did. I see it now. 444. Thank you. Y'all give Celeste a shout out for the $4.44. We still on the 444th 44 and the meaning of 444. Thank you so much. Yes, I did. It didn't give me a notice, but that's okay. I'm glad you said something. So y'all give a shout out to Celeste as well. Another part of this is people, let me put it like this. Believing in extraterrestrial existence of extraterrestrial life can also provide a sense of belonging to a larger universe and feeling what we call the interconnectedness of other beings. I don't know how many people will feel that way. Maybe some of you may feel that way. And that is a question. Do some of us pursue the fact that we're not alone in the universe? We want to know about not being alone in the universe to feel the belonging that the universe is a lot bigger. And I think we've had this conversation on several occasions that what would you do if they showed up tomorrow, or you met one in an alleyway or whatever? Would you meet and greet? How would that particularly work? I know we talked about it, and that's something to, once again, have more of a conversation about when it gets down to it. But at the end of the day, I don't know. You meet one in the back of the alleyway, and then you're talking about some type of abduction and all that. The game changes, period. So that is something that, we have in a discussion. Now, what we're going to talk about that I think is important when we have this conversation about the impact or the psychological impact is going for us to kind of touch on what I call the different type of sightings. Because again, if you go into ufology, there is something called the FPP, and that's the fantasy personality prone, where there's people out there that sometimes believe that they're having these encounters because they want one so badly that they then, and they not really making it up. It's just that anything that happens become maybe it was in some type of extraterrestrial encounter. So, and I get it all the time, and I'm not saying it for anybody, so I'm not trying to offend anybody. Sometimes I talk on the phone with people, and they will say things like, let's say they went into a cell tower like they normally do, and the cell tower hangs up, or you hear some clicking sound, or just whatever. I'll get it. Somebody will say, "Man, they're listening to my conversations," or they're trying to tap in, and I'd be like, "Why? Why you?" And oftentimes, people just think that they're being followed, and I never could figure out why when it comes down to that. Judy says that are ghosts another part of the spirit that hasn't transitioned like the glitch in the Matrix? I don't know. I used to have Marie. She used to come here, and she's a ghost hunter, and we did a couple of shows. So if you go back into the Why the Big Secret videos, you probably find some shows that we did based up on the connection between ghosts and the connection between extraterrestrials, and so we've done that, and that's something to really think about when it comes down to it. And so there are some videos you can go back and check it out. The greatness of Lonnie is here late to the party. We're in the middle of dinner, but wanted to stop and say hello. Well, I hope you ate your vegetables. How about that? That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so the different types of UFO sightings and encounters. Okay, let's get into that. We talk about the close encounters of the first kind. Now, this, when we talk about it, is what we're saying, seeing a UFO within 150 meters, okay? This is a technical term that you want to say, okay, if somebody said I had a CE1 or whatever, close encounters of the third kind. Now, this will be where people maybe, touched the craft and landed. They touched some type of metal. This is a lot of things, but this is the different types of sightings and encounters. Let me go over another one. Close encounters of the second kind. Close encounters of the second kind is witnessing a physical evidence of a UFO, such as burnt grass and broken branches. There was a landing here in Dallas area in the up area, what we call McKinney. Didn't actually see the physical UFO, but when we got out there, or if you look into some of the old MUFON archives, you will see, and when I say we, it was MUFON when they got out there, you will see the prones in the ground where the craft actually landed and the weight of it imprinted into the ground for this particular craft. So that will be considered a close encounter of the second kind, okay? Now we have close encounter of the third kind. Now this is seeing an actual alien being or creature. We get a lot of reports of that. You get a lot of reports of people saying that they saw the being itself. Now with MUFON, we typically don't get a lot of those reports. Mostly everything is going to be people seeing something flying around into the sky. But then, of course, the stories of Communion by Wheatley Strieber. You got Betty and Barney Hill story. All of these stories are close encounters of the third kind, where, well, actually a little more because they've been abducted. So that would be the fourth kind. This is the close encounters of the fourth kind is going to be being abducted by aliens and then experiencing direct contact. So you got your four encounters when it comes down to extraterrestrial contact, okay? So you got your close encounter of the first kind, close encounters of the second kind, close encounters of the third, and then you got close encounters of the fourth. And then you got what Stephen Greer and a lot of them have now brought into the fashion of CE5, which is close encounters of the fifth kind. And so those are things that you're hearing about when it comes down to these stories. And so real quickly, I'll go back over them real quick. Close encounter of the first kind, this is with you actually seeing a UFO. We're talking within 150 meters. Close encounters of the second kind is the witnesses physical evidence. You're witnessing physical evidence of the UFO, such as burnt grass, such as broken branches. This will be your close encounter, second encounter. Third would be, once again, seeing an actual alien being or creature. You saw it outside the aircraft or spacecraft, or walking in an alleyway or whatever. And then close encounters of the fourth kind is you got abducted, and you're experiencing direct contact. And then, as you know, Stephen Greer have now implemented the close encounter or CE5 experience. And so this is stuff that's been going. Now we're going to talk about the psychological impact of UFO sightings encounters on people. All right. People who have experienced UFO sightings or encounters may feel a range of emotions. And we hear that all the time. We're talking about fear. You're talking about anxiety. You're talking about confusion. And you remember that report that we was going over quite some time. I did the show on Billy Carson's show where they was talking about brain damage and all of the stuff that people were reporting being in contact with these UFOs. And so, all right, and that's a question I have for you guys who are listening. If all of these people that are reporting brain damages and memory loss and all this from UFO encounters, does that mean that this is a malevolent or benevolent encounter, even though they may not have got physically abducted, but the fact that the encounter caused some type of brain damage and everything else? And so what would you label it? A good one or a bad encounter? Or would you say it's not the extraterrestrials' fault? I'm sure they know that the radiation and things that comes off those ships are not in good, not for good for humans, right? And I'm sure they know that. Let me look into the chat a little bit. Brian said, it's the hidden truth that no one wants to believe. You got that right, especially when it comes down to this and when you're looking into all of it. And so Celeste said it depends on the intent. Well, what I'm saying is, it's just the aircraft flew by or it came down lower towards you. You were out in some empty field. It didn't get out. It just came down, took a look, and left. But this radiation that you experienced from that aircraft is now causing you all kinds of problems, right? Again, we're talking brain damage. We're talking loss of time. We're talking, radiation burns. These are all true reports of some of these encounters when it comes down to people doing that. And here's and someone mentioned this in the chat. Some of these people may develop post-traumatic stress disorders, okay, or anxiety disorders as a result of these experiences. People are truly not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not having a good experience when it comes down to what is happening with these extraterrestrial experiences. And yet most people think today that they want to see them. Oh, I want to have an encounter. I want to do these things. But are we really, truly ready for that? And yeah, that's what the work of Gary Nolan was about. Yeah, we did a whole series on Forbidden Knowledge TV on a Tuesday night. And it was all about Gary Nolan and all of the stuff that he was talking about that some of the former military people and personnel as well as pilots and all this had experience from dealing with these UFOs. And so it has not been nothing pretty. No, nothing pretty, nothing short of that. So that is something for us to, have in our discussion in someday in the future as we want to come back and to that subject. Another part is that they may also have the stigma attached to reporting the UFO sighting or encounter, which can lead to feeling of isolation and shame. So imagine somebody who's had a sighting and they don't want to report it, but then they keep this, built inside themselves and begin to explode, right, over time. They don't want to report it. They don't want to talk to anybody about it. And this becomes a problem for them over and over. We have tons of people like that, lots of people. We just interviewed Blake and a lot of these people who felt a lot of anxiety about their experience, and as they kept it within themselves for quite some time, and then ultimately it all changes. That's something that we definitely want to look at. All right, so Native V said, depending on what they're trying to accomplish, they may feel that that hurting a few may help many, or they could look at us as we look at test animals, mice. I don't know if they're going to go with the Dr. Spock thing, right? the captain, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I don't know if they take that. Who knows? But it could be their philosophy. I don't want to be part of that thing on test. That's for sure. Brian says science is irrelevant and contradiction. Wolfman said they mutilate cows with precision. They may be doing science experiments on us. We talked about that, right? We talked about that happening from there. All right, so we have a new sponsor who says we're going to take the top spot. And let me change that right now. And let's do it. All right, so we're going to change the top spot real quick. And appreciate you being part of this. And that goes to Droney. All right, y'all. Droney is in the house. And 0201. All right. So we have Droney as the new show sponsor. Y'all give a shout out to Droney there at $54. Okay. He said, I'm going to take Veronica out. Not Veronica, I'm sorry, Native V. Who is Veronica? Who knows? But he said, I'm going to take Native V out and put $4 on top. Now, if Native V and Celeste joined forces together, it would have been 454.44, but instead it's 1 to a chair. All right, so thanks, Droney. Thank you. And everybody give Droney a shout out, please, because this definitely, helps out in more than you know. And I said it millions of times. I really appreciate it from there as well. So let's go into another part of this. We're going to go to the reason why UFO sightings and encounters can be impactful on people's lives. Now, let's go with a bullet point of UFO sightings and encounters challenge our perceptions of reality and can be difficult to reconcile with our understanding of the world. So imagine that you have some type of perception of the world as it is, as most people has, that the world is either flat or it's round, or we're here alone. There's nothing else out there. There's sin on earth and all of these things. And when somebody has some type of one of these experiences, it changes everything. It changes everything freaking completely. And that is something that we want to think about. So think about it yourself. Think about how you see the world as of today. Some people, again, see it as small as a tomato. It is nothing else there but where we are. And then there's people who see it totally different. But imagine at the end of the day, what happens when this whole perception twist, if you were to walk into the point of an extraterrestrial and gave you some information or seen it, and it just changed everything. So, but you think about that as one person, but imagine a whole freaking global community, and which is why this secret is so protected. I remember I was on Courtney's show the other day, and she compared it. She says, Roderick, what about the Epstein? And she started talking about all these different secrets and versus, the secret of extraterrestrial and alien and all of this stuff. And I, if y'all watch the show, I just told her, I said, Courtney, it doesn't even match up. We're talking about how many people care about what happened to Epstein or some of these things that's happening out here versus what would happen if the entire world heard about extraterrestrials. You're talking religion and all of these things. You're talking a major, major impact when it comes down to that. So let's get into some more of that, though. Let's go into the unknown nature of UFOs and the possibilities of extraterrestrials' life can both be exciting and frightening. And this is something. How about some of you right now who's in the chat right now? Before you became comfortable with the fact that we may not be alone in the universe, did you have some type of fear? Or how do you think? You may have family members or anyone else when we talk about it Do people see the extraterrestrial phenomena as frightening? Have any of you before you came close to it, or have you had conversations with people that they're not interested in a topic because they just don't want to talk about it? It is totally a frightening scenario for them. So what do you think? Put it in the chat. Do any of you have encountered or have you talked with people that may see this extraterrestrial phenomenon a little frightening? And while you're doing that, let me not play, but show a little bit here. Our show is sponsored as well, not sponsored, but one of the supporters is Dr. Shipe. He supports our channel completely. So not as over the show, he'll be shown here. But anyway, and you get an opportunity. Let me stop this here for a second. Go to Custodian Files. Okay, I want you to go there, check out Dr. Shipe's YouTube channel, website. He sends me some emails the other day about more dragons. These are UAPs that's flying over where he is in California. You gotta check it out. This guy's been catching them on a high-speed camera and slows it down to where your naked eye is not going to see them, but you can see them. Go to Custodian Files. Go with Dr. Shipe. There's his website there. If you go to his YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, and then also post a comment that you saw and heard about him here on Why the Big Secret. That'll be really cool if you were to do that. And then, as you know, something that's coming up huge, really huge. And so I definitely want to share the information about that. It's just a couple of minutes. So why don't you watch this and you all know who it is, and we're going to support Let's Rock right now.
Hey everybody, it's Billy Carson, also known as Forbidden Knowledge. I want to talk to you about a very special event coming up July 30th, 2023, the Forbidden Conscious Awards, the first annual event of its type. We're going to honor people who have been contributing to the conscious community for decades. People that you know and love that have helped you get to higher levels of thought and consciousness and awareness. And guess what? It's time to give them their flowers while they're still alive. It's going to be a live in-person event, but seats are going to sell out very fast. You want to make sure you're there in person for this amazing level event. It's going to be above the Oscars, above the Grammys. And guess what? You can help vote for the winners. Voting is available on forbiddenknowledge.com. And the categories are going to be social media influencer, podcast/radio host, TV host, actor, director, producer, entrepreneurs, health and wellness, philanthropists, authors, field researchers, archaeologists, space anomaly hunters, and of course, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And you want to be there in person because I'm going to be speaking. That's right, I'll be your keynote speaker that night at the Forbidden Conscious Awards. If you want to come to a mini conference, this is the place to be because I'm going to give you the knowledge that night as well as performances. We have celebrity guests performing. We'll have a halftime show where we're actually going to perform music for you. And don't forget about the pre-event mixer, where if you buy a box seat, you'll be in the VIP section, and you also have private access to a VIP mixer with celebrity guests. Shake hands, break bread, network, and then walk the red carpet with us and take amazing photos. It's going to be a night to remember. You don't want to forget this. And you help vote by going to forbiddenknowledge.com. Go to the Conscious Awards link. You can text in a vote for who you want for any category, as well as if you're out of the country, you can use the web form ballot to still vote for anyone you think is worthy of being honored that night. Make sure you hurry up and get your tickets because they're selling out very fast. I want to see you there. Forbidden Conscious Awards 2023.
All right. So I definitely, that same thing. I want to see you there as well. Go do this. I am going to be there at the Conscious Awards. Okay. I definitely want to have your support. I've already been nominated in the podcast category, probably up against a lot of strong people who got bigger audiences, but I know if my audience and our community come through, we can do that. Right there at the bottom, just go to voteforroderick.com. You can do it whenever, FOR, voteforroderick.com. Simply go in and choose the podcast category, and then also put in your name and email address and vote for Roderick and whatever. We're going to be doing some great stuff. So hopefully, once again, that I get your support. Make sure you do that. And if you've already voted, put in a chat. So let's give a shout out for those who said we already, no, they don't have a UFO category. It's the podcast. But Billy Carson, all his consciousness stuff is based upon UFOs consciousness and all that. So it's not somebody going to be talking about financial things and stuff like that. So it is based up on some of our topics and everything else. But if you have had an opportunity to vote for me, I want to give you a personal shout out if you've already done it. If have not, can you do it? Can you go to voteforroderick.com? Whether, just put in there and pick the podcast category and vote me in the podcast category from there. Okay. I would appreciate it. Again, voteforroderick.com. All right. So, again, our show is sponsored by Droney, who's cashed out $54. But if you do just want to make any contributions, you can use Cash App or Super Chat, whatever fits your fancy. Cash App, once again, is immediate. We'll do that. But again, let me see. I'm about to vote now. Sonia says she voted last week. Sunshine said she already voted, so thank you from there. Chris says I was worried based on the look on the senators' faces, knowing we are human, and it looks like we don't have a plan if our senators didn't see confident in it. It's okay. I think we'll be all right. But I hear what you're saying. Soulful says you already thanked me. Okay. And I'm going to thank you again and again and again. Native says she voted for Roderick. Of course. Thank you. Magneticus says, I don't know where you're going, where you stream tonight. He said, I didn't know you were going to stream tonight. I didn't tell anyone. It was a secret. I'm still trying to pick certain times to be consistent, which we need to see how much times. But now that I think we're shifting into daylight savings time, we can really put some stuff together from there. I would have gave you an odd amount. Well, thank you. Y'all do know my birthday bash is coming up in about a week and a half. So we're on March the 10th. So just kind of let you know there. And hopefully we'll do something live. I'll be in Florida, though. I'll be down at Forbidden Knowledge area at Billy's compound. I'm going to call it a compound. Shit. All right. So let's get back into the conversation. All right. We know that UFO sightings and encounters can have a profound impact on a person's beliefs and values, right? Leading them to question their place in the universe and their understanding of spirituality or religion. That is huge. The implications of religion, spirituality, when it comes down to this UFO thing, is huge, and it's already been from there. Surreal said, I voted for Kermit the Frog. Sadly, I would hope you would have voted for me, my man. Come on now, but that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. But we do know the implications when it comes down to religion and spirituality. This is probably, besides technical, it's probably the biggest of them all, right? It's the challenge. We already know the the Vatican has already summoned up people from all over the world trying to get this particular handle on if the extraterrestrial were to reveal themselves. In fact, it has been rumored that they've already decided that when they do come out, they're going to say that we all serve the same God. I said it was a rumor, a conspiracy. I don't know if any of you have heard of that already, that particular direction that they may be willing to go, but it's something that I've heard that was pretty interesting when it came down to it. But that is one of the reasons why sightings and encounters can be impactful on people. So you can imagine your religious background. And like I said, I've expressed it on many occasions since on my personal life, when I was married, to my previous wife. And, that was a challenge. And like I said, in the beginning, you would think the person was just hating on what you're doing, but it wasn't true. It's just, that was the boundaries. That was her cultural lens. And there was nothing you can really do about it unless there was going to be some time of evolution within their thought process or experiences. And a lot of you are dealing with people like that today, where you're in relationships and you're around people because of that cultural lens cannot by far focus on the fact that there's a possibilities that the universe is a little different out there. And then when you get into the biblical side, especially in Christianity, where there could be some changes in or a different understanding when you're reading some of the scriptures and all of these things. This is really crazy when it comes down to that. And I think it's something that we should be able to do. Cyril said, I voted for you 100 times over, my man. Hey, appreciate it. So when we get down to that, some of you, how many of you are Christian, have Christian belief, but you have at some point been toying with the religious aspects when it comes down to extraterrestrial beings, or maybe in the beginning before you were able to begin to into the conversations, how was Christianity and how did all of this work for you when it came down to this experience? If you don't mind, put that in one of the things. Can someone be so kind as to pop the link so I can vote for Daddy Rod, please? Lonnie, if you are there. If not, let me put it in here. You can go to vote for Roderick. I don't know if she's still here with us, but let me type and see. Let me type. I'm gonna put the link in the chat so that you can find it. There we go. All right, there we go. So you can click that particular link. It'll take you over to the form, okay? And then all you do is pick podcast, put my name, Roderick Martin, then you'll put in your name, and you'll be able to vote from there. So please, Celeste, take the vote from there. Nicole said, I was raised Christian, and I live by Christian morals, but considered myself to be spiritual now. All right, so, but what would be like your husband? I mean, is he still Christian, or was he Christian? Would you both see it different in the household now, right? And how does that work when it comes down to this from there? Soulful Essence says, I was raised in a Catholic church, and as when the moon landing happened, I asked about whether there are people that the astronauts would meet, and what kind of answer was that, right? Native V said, I was raised Christian, but always was able to accept the fact of alien existence. In my mind, God, science go hand to hand. Okay, that's a great answer. Great answer. My husband is Christian, and we definitely have different views. And okay, and that's one of the things that, and I'm not going to go into relationships, but we do know now you got the old saying of, because you're the head of the house, your husband have his beliefs. Should the wife fall within those parameters, and you guys work those things together, from there. Another part of this is different types of extraterrestrial encounters people claim to have had. We definitely want to get into that, but before I do, let's go into why do some people believe, like I said before, that they had a extraterrestrial encounter. And what we're going to do, we're going to discuss the different types of extraterrestrial that people claim that they had. I'll go over some of them. We're going to explore some of the psychological reasons why some people believe they've had an extraterrestrial encounter, and we'll talk about the impact. Fair enough? So let's get right down into it right now. Different types of extraterrestrial encounters people believe they have. Number one would be alien abductions. A lot of people believe that they're being taken aboard a UFO, subject to medical examinations or other procedures. I can't tell you the number of cases or stories that people have said that they felt that they have been abducted and that they have been taken into some spacecraft. They've had some type of medical procedures done to them, and of course being returned to the Earth and planet, in most cases unscarred or anything, but yet with the memory. And there's a fine line between how do we see if we believe such encounters, or how do we try to, what should I say, put those things into perspective where it's a believable. It's something that actually happens. And so that is something that we always say. Marla says, I was raised Christian, as we was talking about our previous conversation. I went to Catholic school all my years, and I'm going on or learning more towards spiritual. I used to question later in life, especially since I have been watching Ancient Aliens. And see, and that's it. It's all about the curiosity. And then once you start getting more information, people has changed it. Kia says, I've always been a believer, but in hindsight, probably shaped in my limited social life and tumultuous religious life. Hey, I understand. I definitely understand when it gets down to those things as well. Um, so that is something, once again, for us to really think about. Another part of this, close encounters of the third kind. Remember, we talked about seeing an actual alien in being or creature. This also is what some people claim that they're seeing. Some people say, "Hey, listen, I've seen an actual alien. I've looked at an actual alien." I'm not talking about people who said they've seen a UFO. We're talking about people who said, I put my eyes on a being, and it's something that we saw or I saw, and those are things that people tend to describe some of the different things that have happened to them. And so, once again, we're trying to figure that out as well. Another thing, let you know, we have some new items on the Why the Big Secret website. You're going to see the new branding for Project Black, the official seal, the trademark of what we're doing. You got to go check it out when you go to our store. It'll be where you will see Why the Big Secret items, but you're going to also see some of the items. And let me see if I can bring some of them up for you here in a little bit. And you can kind of check that out once it gets down to that. So, in fact, let me do a quick screenshot and you guys can check out some of the other stuff, and I'll load it into our overlays right now. But anyway, so just kind of let you know, here we go. So I'll show you right now. You can check it out. Here's some of the stuff that's been loaded. There's the new branding for the, and it's a real beautiful stuff that we're working with. This is the new branding for the Project Black, and so definitely want you to check that out. You definitely, let me add the picture of this mug, and you can check that out right there. All right, so anyway, so we got the new branding. That is some of the products for Project Black. There you go. That's our new official seal, the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. Look at the image of our mascot there. And we're going to give a story behind that pretty soon, but those are now there. Definitely check that out. Want you guys to be able to go in and support that. Project Black items. Some of them are $3 to $5 more than normal because we're doing them for a fundraiser. So if you are to support us, definitely do that. And there's some nice stuff that you can really get that we're doing. It's going to be a new brand. We're going to, like I said, we got a lot of big things coming out with Project Black. We're going to start doing the workshops, and we're going to start doing some of the live seminars. This thing is going to be huge. I'm wanting. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Look, hang on for a second. Let me see. Somebody's texting me. Oh, really? I didn't know that is so cool. But I just put up some for I just put up one of those native V for Why the Big, not Why the Big Secret, but Project Black. I'm gonna show you in just a second. You might want to check this out. We got the wall. It's called wall tappery. Wherever you guys want some of that wall tappery, but man, I'm gonna show y'all real quickly, and we'll get back into our stories here. Let me put them both up in here. You'll check them out, and let's see here. All right. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna get back on our stories and everything else. But anyway, here's like, look at that, check that out. That's the new wall tapestry. I know some people bought the Why the Big Secret one. This is the new one for Project Black. You can buy that and hang it. I may get one and hang behind here one of the shows. That's the actual seal logo, and then this is the actual design. It's a trademark design. Check that out. I'm telling you, we got a story that we're going to share behind why it's designed that way. Why did we pick the Egyptian colors? Why is that extraterrestrial brown skin? Why does he have that third eye? But it's the eye of Ra sitting there and everything. We're going to go through, and I will share that story in a few days, everything there. So I hope you all like it. Yep, this tapestry. That is it. And definitely, I need your support. Support it. There's a wall painting in there and all of that stuff that we have that you'll be able to see all of those things. And so that's the new brand for the global initiative of Project Black, which is the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. And so we're going to be doing that as well. So hopefully you support it. Hopefully you go into the store tonight. You can find it at the bottom of the YouTube. If you go into the YouTube channel when we're done, hit the store and you'll be able to go there. Everyone should be rocking that logo. Yes, we have shirts. You got the seal and you have the regular, but the shirt says start the conversation. That is some things that we want to do, is literally start the freaking conversations. And that is something that I want. But I really like that water bottle. You know what I mean? Man, you ought to get you one of those. And then we have the all around shirt. Pretty cool. All right, let's get back into the stories. Look forward to buying them. I should start getting stuff each big check. All right, man. All right, Marla. Let's do it. All right, so what we was talking about, the different types, okay? We was talking about what people claim they have had. We talked about the abductions real quick. I just went into the close encounters. Now let's go into telepathic communications. A lot of people are saying this has happened, receiving messages from extraterrestrial beings through telepathy. We get a lot of that all the time. Some people will use the word downloads, right? They'll use the word that I've been contacted. And you hear this all the time when it comes down to it. And so I think that's something for us to really, because you really can't verify that, right? Especially I'm not talking about people that channel, that's a different story. We're talking about an experiencer, someone who at some point feel that they've been contacted through telepathy or some type of other communications when it comes down to extraterrestrial contact. So that's something that I think people should look into, especially when it comes down to what we're doing here. But another part, let me look into some chats. King James says everyone should be rocking that logo. I'm saying it again. Yes, rock the logo, the brand, Project Black. It is initiative, is rocking, is rolling. This is the official seal of Project Black, the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. And we're going to do a lot of great things, but hopefully we want to raise funds for it. So hopefully you will buy some of the gear. Like I said, some of the shirts will be $3 to $5 more than normal. That is because we're trying to increase that to, raise funds. I'm thinking about getting an in-house printer where we can do our own screen print, not screen printing, but the, whatever you call it. You put the things down and heat press and stuff. Because right now it's drop shift, so we just get a percentage of it, but they do it. And then they ship it out. They handle everything, and we just then see the results of whatever small profits that we're given. But in the meantime, it's pretty much. I would love for anybody who order any of our shirts or anything, please send me pictures of you wearing the Why the Big Secret, the Project Black gear. What you would notice on any of the Project Black gears, if it's a shirt, that we did put the little Why the Big Secret logo there so that it's still both one and the same. So you'll be able to do that. But definitely, I wanted some shirts, whoever have them. Yeah, we got cotton, 100% cotton. There's two kinds there. you have some different ones. So we have it there. Hello. I guess we are a loud species and have read, okay. So, hey, all right. So that's cool. I don't have any silk, but I definitely would. That will be bad embroidered. Yes, the cost numbers are. All right. Yeah. So definitely the email is contact@whythebigsecret.com. So if you were to do that, you can send some stuff over. Send your pictures over. My main man, Roddy. All right. All right. So that is my man, Race. Welcome to the show. Y'all make sure y'all check out the Phenomenal Radio podcast. It's on YouTube. So give him a look at, give him a subscription and all of those things. And Race is going to be one of the first persons to buy our new branded Project Black t-shirts and all of that stuff with our new brands for that, because he's going to support all the freaking way. Because why? That's how he rolls. Okay. Well, anyway, so let's go back and once again, real quick, let's get back into some storytelling and some conversation of what we're doing, and give a shout out once again to the Phenomenal Radio podcast. Okay, definitely give them a shout out. All right, so like what we were just saying though, the different types that people have. Now, another one, we just talked about telepathy and communications. Let's talk about UFO contact. Interacting with extraterrestrial being in a peaceful or benevolent manner. We hear this. We hear people say, oh, nothing happened. This was it, blah, blah, blah. But once again, so you have those factions. You got and I've said it before, you got your Stephen Greer factions. You got your Lou Elizondo factions, the threat narrative. Then we got the benevolent narrative. Now, I'm a little bit of both. I've said it before. I want my government to be prepared for it all. I want them to be prepared for it all when it comes down to it. And so we definitely are looking at it from different perspectives. But some people, when they say, blah, blah, blah. Yes, oh my God, you have a bottle. Yes, my type of style, carry. Yes, we have the bottles. We have bottles, all of that stuff. I want... And like I say, you got the official seal brand, and you have the regular bottles. And I will put both of those up so y'all can check that out, so that you get all of your thirst, gear when you're out. All of those things, you get those when you get your Project Black initiative. But let me show y'all these. Here's the bottle she's talking about. This is one. And it's got the seal on it, okay? There's a real beautiful water bottle. Man, it's high quality. And then we have one with the actual, without the seal, but it'll have the branded logo a little bit. So you can get a choice of this one or that one, the official seal. But either way, check those products out when you get an opportunity to do that. So anyway, if you want to contribute to tonight's show, you still can. Your contributions are definitely, greatly appreciated. Okay, you can do that via the Cash App, which is up here at the top, or you can super chat. And today's sponsor, and how that works is whoever contributes the most will be the sponsor of the show. And so we've already started out. We had Native V at $50. Now we got Droney at $54. And so if you want to reign supreme or just be a good giver, you can definitely do so when it comes down to it. All right, so let's get into the different the psychological reasons why some people believe that they had an extraterrestrial encounter. And we talked about the different types, but now we're going to touch on why some people believe that they might have had an encounter. What's some of the things that pops up? One is the experience may be explained as psychological phenomena such as sleep paralysis, lucid dreaming, and hallucinations. So we get those are things that most people deal with when it comes down to these extraterrestrial encounters. All right, Juanita Lil gave a contribution of $20. So please give a shout out to Juanita. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it 100%. Thank you. So y'all give Juanita a shout out, please. Everyone, please do so. Because again, special special people. All right. So again, we just talked about it, hallucinations. You got some people use those rooms or mushrooms. Some people talk about it all the time to where, people are using mushrooms and you name it. But then it becomes hallucinations. So they may feel that they are, having some type of encounter, who knows? It happens all the time. Like I said, when we get people that are reporting these things, um, some people we did a whole show, a couple of shows, I think, on sleep paralysis. I've experienced it. I'm sure a lot of people have. So when it comes down to it, from there, and so I think it's things that people associate with the extraterrestrial encounters when you get it down from there. So I'm not for sure how we could look at. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me make sure my face is being shown here. How about, though, let's look at some people may believe that they've had an encounter because they are seeking answers or validation for their experiences, belief, and spiritual practices. I put that under the FPP, right? Fantasy personality prompt. That is look it up, Google it. This happens a lot within ufology, where just like I read, that there's some people may believe they've had an encounter because they're seeking answers, they're seeking validation. So they may have seen something and think it was a UFO. People around them can say it's not. They get to a point where they got to tell people or begin to, this has to be a UFO, right? It has to be right. This goes from there as well. So Jimmy says, every time I took shrooms, it was a great experience. I never experienced it, but I've heard people that have took mushrooms and, like you said, had a incredible experience. So that's something that has happened. Another reason is that for others, experience may be the manifestation of underlying mental health, conditions such as anxiety. We talked about it, depressions, dissociative disorders. So even in the past, there was always this connection between you are crazy and the UFO phenomenon. It was just that way. And so some people may have been told that they were crazy and now begin to believe that they may have some crazy. But now that we have the government and all of these, you got the news outlets, media, all of these people are now talking about the phenomenon. I think it really lends validation to all the people who were told that they were cuckoo when it came down to this. Now that it's in mainstream media, it should lend. And I think if anybody who have ridiculed someone by this time should have gone back to them and say, hey, look, you may have been right, such and such. You may, maybe you did have an encounter. Maybe you were abducted. Maybe you did see this. At least now the possibility of all of this now opens up the Pandora's box, right? Because it's now mainstream media and it's actually happening in context. So I think that's just beautiful for us to really think that as well. Let's go with the impact of these experiences on people's lives. And hopefully tonight, as I'm just going over a lot of this, that this may just at some point reach some of you. We got a little bit left and I'll speed it up a little bit, but the experience, the impact on people's lives, the extraterrestrial encounter could have a profound impact on people's lives. We're talking about personal beliefs. We're talking about world views, which we brought that up before. Some people may experience changes in their behavior, relationships, or careers as a result of this experience. And we know that this particular story has, challenged a lot of people's careers, their beliefs when it come down. And I've always told my story, in my home when I was married to the she-wolf, there was a whole different story when it came down to the extraterrestrial experience. But once again, how people are dealing with it is this is real, people. It's real. It's in the house. It's something that people are dealing with, and it's something that people should now take in consideration. For other encounters may cause people, like I say, feeling fear. We're using anxiety again. We're talking paranormal. paranoia. You're not paranormal, but paranoia. And then this leads into difficulty in functioning in daily life. I can't tell you how many people I meet, and especially if it's someone that you want to have conversations with, maybe build a relationship with, that this experience have taken them too much over the top. That it's like, okay, even my hypocrisy only goes so far, and I'm all in, but then there's a certain level yes, I did. I said the she wolf. um, and my hypocrisy only goes so far, and so it's definitely something that we have to think about, and I've said it before, even myself, like, okay, what if you, and I know people that are married to people that really are off the deep end when it comes down to this. And I've always said it to myself, would I, how would that work if you were seeing someone and you're laying in the bed and especially if somebody who sees dead people or ghosts, right? And you're being intimate, and they look up and say, well, such and such is standing there. What do you do? What do you be like? Who? And can we continue? Or are they trying to give some advice? Do they want a threesome? You get what I'm saying? It's how do you have a real conversation? Because the other person is taking it kind of, someone saying the she wolf kind of sounds pretty bad as though a badass. Okay, I'm with you. I mean, yeah, the she wolf was, some days she was just the most beautiful she, and other days when that moon come out, y'all know when it's that time, and that moon is full, she turns into a wolf, and it is on. By God, it is on. So, but anyway, that She Wolf Chronicles, that's cool. But overall, she's a good person. All right. She Wolf, I bet you regret not listening to you, and now she see you with the top of the world. People are back as well. I don't know. And I'll say this before, there was a time that Magneticus, if he's still in here, oh, let me look at my bling bling. It's getting under my shirt. I want to show y'all my birthday presents. And so anyway, there was a time Magneticus was saying something, and he was like, hey, talk about She Wolf Chronicles. And she actually was in the room. She actually popped up and said something. Y'all don't know who it was, but I was like, oh, hi, But anyway, so I had to stop the conversation. But he said she wolf is the cold word. No. But either way, once again, it's just the relationships of what's happening in life, and I think we all do that pretty much. I enjoy my career has changed. Yeah, since we divorced, I've been in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 TV shows and got some bigger projects on the horizon. A lot of things is changing. Next week I'll go to Florida and start the first 2 episodes or the mindset training for the Billy Carson sisters weight loss show that I am her subject. So I'll be in the first season. Get a little more fine and sexy, but that doesn't mean anything for her or me or anything, and she's moved on with her life just like anybody else, and that'll be good. Hopefully I'll meet not a new she-wolf. I'll meet a queen. Let's go with that. I'm just talking now. Sometimes people have to hold us back in the name of love. That is true. That is true. I will say, I thought you were about to say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 relationships. Whoa. What do you mean 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Summer? Is that in your book? Y'all know Summer sent me the book. It's right there. I'm working on it right there. I don't know what that means, but maybe we can do much success in the weight loss journey. Yeah, it's time. Knees hurt some days, so it's time to get it off and pretty much. All right, so let's get back into a couple of more things here. He talked about Alien Queen. Well, boy, I tell you. We talked about some of the things that people would talk about. Let me go back here for what I'm talking about here. Some people, again, is going to experience changes in their behavior, relationships, career. We said that. Others encounter may cause the feeling of fear. We talked about that. Paranormal. We talked about it. Some may experience social stigma. This is where it gets really deep, with some people being ridiculed and ostracized for their belief. And a lot of us have been in that scenario. A lot of us who are on this particular, live stream tonight has been ostracized. We've been talked about when it comes down to this phenomenon. And now, because it's in the news, is all that, we've been really vindicated. Because there was some years that it was a conversation that I was not having. It was a conversation that people was like, don't come near me with that particular conversation. You're crazy. UFOs they're not real. They doesn't exist. And now, as of today, with some of this stuff, and this is why, I use the joke when I tell you, when you got family reunions, the barbecues or Thanksgiving and all of these things, that you sit there and while everybody at the table, you hold a turkey, right, that's being passed around for Thanksgiving, and they just sitting there looking at you like, what the freaking you doing? Pass the turkey. And that's when you look at them and say, what do you think about UFOs? Oh, that's crazy. Pass the turkey. And then you talk about UFO taxes. Well, tell them there's an official office, and every freaking day that they go to work, every day they work overtime, every day they clock in, money is coming out of their check to pay for that crazy UFO idea, okay? And they're in on it. They're paying for it right now. And we have an official office. And boy, see the look on their faces when you tell them you're paying for it. And that's how I do it now. I'll be like, you paying for it? I don't care if you like it or not. You paying? What do you mean I'm paying for it? Dude, we got an official taxpayer's office program called Arrow, paid for by your money. And when you go to work tonight, thank you for your contributions to the UFO phenomena. Just put it to them like that, with a little power, of course. Yeah, and you'll see. You'll see how they go. Roar. They're going to get that Scooby-Doo on you. Roar, roar. You just go back. Roar. Yeah, there you go. You're paying for it. All right, so as we get ready to come to the discussion point, we're going to talk about the psychological, like we've been talking about, impact. We're going to discuss the effects of the experience by people who have seen these UFOs. We're going to talk about some of this long-term effects that people have, and we'll go into this. So the common psychological effects experienced by people who have seen UFOs and extraterrestrial encounters. One goes into intrusive thoughts and memories. Oh my God. If we can say anything else, that right there is going to take us down a rabbit hole. Many people experience persistent and distressing thoughts and memories related to their encounter. I'm telling you, it happens all the time, okay? Some of the thoughts that people get, some of the stories, and again, that, and I get it because it has drove some people literally bananas, okay? And why not? When you're dealing with something that's unexplained, when you're dealing with something that your sensories can't fathom and connect the dots, and you can't really, the mind, it's not that it wasn't designed, and you always know, I tell you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind, right? And so when your mind has not comprehended everything yet, or open up to the possibility that we're not alone, and your eyes see something before your mind is ready, oh, it's off. It's a done deal. It's really a bad deal. And so I think that's one of the things from there, and pretty much. Summer says, in my next book, I asked, why is the black sheep? She says, why is the black sheep? Because us, I'm talking about U.S. Us black sheeps are actually the shepherds in disguise, observing and waiting for our time. And I can go with you on that. I definitely can. Sometimes I feel alone, wolf in my family. You will. And this is why we developed the truthseekerscommunity.com, where you can go and get on the app. This is why this particular space was created, so that people wouldn't feel this way. This is why the World Initiative for Project Black. And like I said, it stands for the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. It has nothing to do with exclusion, but really all of us, everybody, white, black, green, brown, we just have a area of ufology that has disproportionately representation and reports in the black and indigenous community. And it is definitely a important factor to dig deeper, because not only are you going to get more stories, you're going to get more different things on the other side that has been left out over these last 70 years, because there's thousands and hundreds of books and none of them really digs deep into the indigenous and African American community. And there are stories that we have not heard, and there are lies why that we have, the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge. And I will be soon putting up a website. I do need to get a professional website done. And so I'm looking eventually to get some help with that. I know there's templates out there. I'm not talking about a template. I really want a custom website done that would encompass Roderick Martin, Why the Big Secret, and Project Black, all within one. But a place where people can get updates and information. And like I said, yeah, I can go put up a Wix blog and begin down the process. But I really want somebody to design something really cool and special, with Project Black. And so if any of you want to be part of Project Black, I'm talking about maybe you have some profession or you got connectivity, or maybe you have a store, because we're going to do, at some point, I want to do a circuit of workshops and go around, but have people come with us and go into different cities, and they have telling their stories where people can come. I don't want this to be done over no freaking live stream or and we may still do some over Zoom, like I said, in Eventbrite, right? But I want a hands-on where you can physically touch, talk, hug, cry, all of that with these people that are having these experiences and everything else. And I'm seriously knowing that we're going to impact that freaking close on the ground. And it's going to be involved with a lot of people. It's going to take some resources to pull it off until it becomes self-sustaining. But I'm hoping that, and I know I got a support of Native V, and I know there's a few other ones that are supporting. We're still going to need more support, because it initially setting up the hotel rooms, getting some of the speakers that's going to come out, all of that, you got to pay them like in advance, so to speak. And we're gonna have some sales, but we're going to get business sponsors. There may be people sponsors who want to be part of that. We'll need some psychological people. We're going to need, scientists, all these different people that's going to explain these processes, because we're going to bring in a whole new people. This is not for all of us. This is for us to start the conversation, to bring in all of those wanderers, okay? All of the wanderers that's out there. And I'm telling you, we're going to pull it off. I got 2 books in the process to go with it. There's some big other things that's going to come behind Project Black. And my affirmations that we're going to reach 1 million people, to bring them in so that they're more comfortable. And it may be 2 million, but this is in my affirmations that I read every day, and the 369 affirmations. And so we're going to do this, but I can't do it by myself. I can lead the march. I can talk about it, because the vision is in here, and I can share it. But it's going to take some more stuff in pretty much doing that. But we're going to get around from that pretty much. At some point, some of the speakers, we're going to selectively have these speakers, and people bring things to the table. But we'll pay our speakers, because we're going to charge admission. Why not? And there'll be people that's helping out once there's stuff. But I want people that comes in here from the heart. And we'll give them resources that we get, but we're going to selectively choose people, not because of, but we want people, when they look at the idea of what we're trying to do, and I hear how they see the vision of the idea. Those are people that we want to work in the inner circle with, and everything else. And so we'll definitely do that. So I hope y'all hear me. You got my email, contact@whythebigsecret.com if you got some visions or different things. But it is going to fall under the umbrella of what we do. And our logo and brand is now got its trademark on its way. And so we're going to do it. We're going to build a brand on it. So anyway, I got off track there just a little bit. But if you want to support already, you can show your support. You can cash out all of that stuff is going down the road. We're not playing with this thing at all. Let's get into some closing arguments and facts here in just a little bit so that people can understand what we're talking about. We talk about sleep disturbances as one of the effects that people experience. The encounter may cause sleep disturbances such as insomnia and nightmares. This is true, people. There are people that are still having nightmares from their experience. And what we're hoping, even with Project Black being on the ground, okay, is that it gets people to a point where it becomes a common conversation that they can have to start the conversation where they begin to disarm all of this anxiety, disarm all the things that they're having, because now it's a conversation. And so we hope to do that. I wonder if a super chat of 1333, if Roderick would catch it. All right. Who super chatted it? I didn't see it. Yeah. Olivia says 54. All right. There we go. All right. All right. So what I'm saying is anxiety and depression, as we know, it's the experience that causes the feeling of fear. We know it causes the depression, and especially if they feel that they have no one to talk to or no one to believe them. That is the ultimate issues. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we want to exist, to make sure people know that, they're not alone, okay? They can talk about this stuff. We are going to talk about extraterrestrial beings and the reality. And like I said, we don't have to sit down with them and walk and put ourselves in their shoes. We're going to walk with them. And because whatever the deal is, but whether their encounter was legitimately or not, we believe they believe what they're going through. And so therefore we're going to support them, because either way, just the thought of what is happening with these phenomena is enough to set people off. Whether it's a legitimate encounter or the thought that they had to encounter, the body and an emotion is reacting the same. It doesn't know the difference. And so we need to help people one way or the other. And within that, we're going to get some true stories, and we're going to get some stories that could be way out there. But that's not our problem. We don't. It's always been a way out there subject matter, right? And so this is where we're going to go with this, and we're going to support people as we go down the rabbit hole of what we're doing. Another part is hypervigilance. Villages, and we know that this could be an issue, and people become more alert, they become more vigilant, and the potential threats, even everyday situations. Now you got people on high fucking alert. Something creepy, you go knocking on their door in the middle of the night, or you want to go visit them, they shooting at you, who knows, because now they're on high alert, because they're thinking this could be happening, or everything else. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't walk down no freaking dark alley without my, protection piece, some things like that. But at the end of the day, there are people out there who are thinking that it's a different situation when it comes down to this. And so we need to do it. Now, the long-term impact of these experiences on people's mental health, we'll go through that. Some people may develop post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. We talked about it, and other anxiety. Others may experience chronic stress and difficult functioning in daily life. And then, of course, in some cases, the experience may lead to changes in their personality. We said that already. This is real stuff that comes down to it. I need to talk to you, Roderick. Brian, I'm going to say this. I will give you my email address. Please, I am trying to make sure that you're not the next person that emails me without a contact number. I do call people. I do call people back the best that I can. But I get so many people that'll sit there and email. I want to tell you my story. I want to share something with you. I'm starting to ignore them. So there are people who are now saying they send another email, you ain't responding. I ain't responding to nobody because you can see me and I will call you and we can talk. But I am not going to go down a rabbit hole of no blind person who's not willing to come forward where I can at least hear their voice, talk to them, and take them serious, because I'm going to take you serious. And I'm not talking to you, Brian, directly, but you get what I'm saying. Just know that, yeah, Magnetics will tell you, he would call you. There's more people here got my phone number because I'm in this, and I don't mind sharing that information and calling people, but I'm now getting too many messages of I want to share my story, and then they don't put no contact, and they think I'm not going down those rabbit holes. You're not going to send me down that. If you are willing to contact me, be willing for me to contact you. And I'm not saying bringing you up on the videos. I'm saying I'm just going to get on the phone. I want to hear your story. I want to meet you, talk to you, and definitely because I take this personal. And so I'm just forewarning, and hopefully anybody who's watching this video understands that in the future, that it is no joke. We get enough of these blind, got the most weirdest and greatest story, but they hide behind it. Those days are over, especially in our inner circle. Like I said, we don't have to bring you on camera, but if you're going to call me, we're going to be doing that. All right, so we'll be setting that up. We're setting up all our interviews now. Another part of examples of how experiences have changed in people's lives, is that some people believe more spiritual and develop a deeper interest in the paranormal and metaphysical aspects of life. This has happened to most people, like myself, everybody. People that have had these experiences, yes, enough of the anonymous stuff. You're so correct, Soul for S. It is enough. We want to stand out here in front, take the arrows, at least be next to pull them out when we get them from there. Jen said, I already voted. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. I think, all right. And so Ronnie says he got his story. Okay. So another part is the encounter may cause relationship problems. We talked about that, with their partners or family members being unable to understand or accept the experience. All these little sections that you hear me talking about today, is eventually each one of those is going to turn into a full show by itself. We're going to talk about how we can deal with relationships. Maybe it ain't for the ones who are dealing with the experience, but hopefully it is somebody who is new out there that really don't want to pay attention to what's going on, but love their loved one enough to come and participate in some of the things that we do so that they can communicate with their loved one who is or feel that they're having an experience, because they got to believe that that person needs to believe that the person is believing and trusting and loving. But at the end of the day, you have to show the support. This is important, and especially if it's your spouse or your mate and they're dealing with this thing for quite some time. And so this is huge. And this is another reason why we're going to do it. But Roderick, why the big secret? That, we talk about that. I've given a lot of indications tonight, Jen, and why it is a secret, why most people probably don't talk about it, why they won't talk about it and never will talk about it. But hopefully, like the tagline of Project Black is to start the conversation. And that is as simply at ground level as we want to get people to ask the possibility and provide them enough information that they can read, they can see, they can understand, to awaken, listen to me, just to awaken their curiosity. That's all we want to do. We just want to awaken their curiosity to the possibility. And we know, but for them, to the possibility that we're not alone in this universe. And from there, they should start the journey, slowly but surely. But they will start the journey, and we will do that. We will take them there. In some cases, these encounters have led to a complete shift of a person's life trajectory. with people changing careers, moving location, becoming more sociable, socially and political active. It happened for me. Okay. I saw this my encounter when I was 12 years old. It stayed my secret. Okay. I didn't realize how significant of the moment when I saw the UFO. But it stayed with me, and over the months and years it became. So I become a MUFON investigator. I started studying and understanding it, not from a high level of what is happening, but from a ground level of how it's affecting people and how we should interpret these things. Of course, at this point now, being on a TV show, Alien Endgame, which is the Discovery Channel, becoming a MUFON field investigator, being on a TV show for the Fox Tubi, you can check that out. Being on Forbidden Knowledge, I have an 8-episode show on his network, as well as in his show Black Knight Satellite. Being on the History Channel now, Ancient Aliens. Being on Gaia twice with Regina Meredith and George Norrie. Being on Coast to Coast Radio. There's a new show that I'm in right now called I Want to Believe 2. It's on Amazon. It just aired about 2 days ago, or been loaded 2 days ago. Check it out. I'm in that documentary. And so it changed my career to this is what I'm doing now. And once again, this is why I always ask people for support, because there's no application that I'm going to go fill out for a job and say, hey, I'm a UFO investigator. This is what I do. And now I rely on my some side gigs, but also rely on my community, which is getting bigger and bigger, where contributions are helping. And all I ask is support me as long as you want, when you want, and hopefully we keep growing. We get hundreds of thousands of subscribers as our community grow, and then YouTube kicks in a little more. Yeah. Now we can do some stuff. Now we can fly Shaquille O'Neal, who talked about he's seen a UFO, pay his appearance fees and bring him into the studios, our new studios by that point. And you welcome to come in that day he's here and greet, because y'all part of the community. We're going to grow that freaking big. I'm telling you, we're going to approach it in a different way. And this is why we're going to attack it with Project Black, because anything else, everybody's talking about UFOs. Everybody is interviewing somebody, but who's focusing on the ground with you? Who's focusing on what you dealing with and what everybody else is dealing with on the ground? Nobody but us. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're going to affect and change lives, period. And with that being said, I want you to go and support, get you some hats, shirts, all the little stuff that you can find. You got this particular gear. This is the Project Black gear, or you can go and get the Why the Big Secret gear and support the channel. At least at this point, if it makes you comfortable that you're getting something in return besides the value that I bring here and continue to show. At least you'll get something physical that you can hold, touch, and feel that your money has given you. And whatever satisfies the pickle for you, I want you to get the juice that you're looking for. I really do, because I love you. I really do. All right, so let's get ready to bring this home. We're going to talk about how people cope with the psychological impact. Okay, we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss real quickly the coping mechanisms that people can use, or you can have when we come down. We're going to talk about the importance of seeking professional help. If you need some help, we're not professionals. You need to get some professional help, right? And we're going to talk about the resources that people could have about UFOs, extraterrestrial encounters. So one, if you're seeking social support, talking to friends and family members about this experience and receiving validation could be helpful. And you heard me say validation. If you're going to be a support wheel for somebody, you got to validate the experience. And one of the things that I'm going to give you, and this is mine, and I'm working on it now for a couple of things that we're doing, is that most people are looking for you to believe in them and believe in their stories. And you can simply say, hey, you know what? I believe you believe that this experience happened, and therefore I'm going to support you. And what I'm saying is this. If you came to me and said, Roderick, there's a freaking leprechaun. You see the rainbow going behind the dumpster. There's a leprechaun a leprechaun over there with a fucking pot of gold, and I'm looking at you as I would, saying, really, right? But I'm in a world of angels and fairies and monsters and Loch Ness monsters, UFOs, extraterrestrials. So it's not a stretch for me to believe you now see a leprechaun. But because it is a stretch, though, and all I'm going to look at you and say, listen, Jake, I'm going to give you the name Jake. I believe you believe that there is a leprechaun over there. And for that reason, I'm going to go with you. I don't have to see it, because if they ask me and look me in the eye, did you see it? You see the rainbow? Hell no, I don't. But I don't want them to feel that they're not supported. But I believe they believe. And if you think about that statement, and that's one of the books I'm printing, I'm just letting you know up front, then you can go with anybody. You can use this in your relationships. You can use that statement, because they're still going to hear what they need to hear. Just start walking with them. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Just start walking with them. All right. So, cognitive coping strategies, reframing from experience in more positive and empowering light, finding ways to reduce stress, such as meditation. And like my ass need to do, a lot of more exercise. Okay. That's another way that you can deal with what's going on. Seeking information and more understanding, researching, experience, connecting with other people who have had similar encounters can provide a sense of validation and understanding. That's why we're going to do Project Black seminars, where people connect and touch and talk with other people who have had these experiences. We want to do that. I'm serious. Not just, although, yeah, you're going to hear Blake's interview was just perfect. But the fact that I met him in person and me and him talked, shook hands, sat there and got to know him as an individual was priceless. It was priceless. And so there's things that we definitely can do. And so I'm talking about helping people. Now, the importance of seeking professional help. We're almost done. You're talking mental health services can help individuals process their experiences, manage their emotions, and develop coping strategies. This is why when we do Project Black, I want to make connections with mental health professionals. Okay? So if you know any that want to be part of what we're doing and believe in the cause, I'm not talking about somebody looking for the dollar. We're talking about somebody who want to be involved because they also are interested in what we're doing. It's a difference between, because I can call 1 million mental health specialists and say, okay, how much is your hourly rate? I'm not saying that once we develop a revenue stream of what we're doing, that the people that's in our inner circle, but we definitely want those people. And if you know somebody and if they're in the conversations, definitely talk to us. Because a mental health professional can also assess the underlying they can assess these things, and they can see the mental conditions such as PTSD, and all these things, and provide the appropriate treatment. People, we're going to be doing that, okay? We're going to have resources for people who have UFO extraterrestrial encounters that need support. And we're talking about, you got the organization like MUFON that I'm a part of, and we're talking about the Central Study for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. We see SETI. We've heard of those. Maybe we get some of these people, offer resources for interested, in peaceful contacts with extraterrestrial intelligence. The National UFO Reporting Center. I know Peter Davenport personally. That place is getting a lot of reports, but eventually with Project Black, we're going to have our own, listen to me, our own reporting area. Yep. That's going to stir some shit up. So you already know. We're going to have, you're talking about the International Association for Near-Death Studies. This is, we're finding that the near-death studies, or LANS is what they call it, offer support for individuals who have paranormal spiritual experience. Most people that we've been talking to lately have had near-death experiences, NDE. And so it's a conversation that we need to be having and helping people. And so we're just going to do that. So hopefully y'all understand that we have explored the psychological impact of the UFO extraterrestrial encounters. We discussed the history of the human fascination when it comes to extraterrestrial life, the different types of UFO sightings you should have heard about, encounters, the common psychological effects and experience by people who have had UFO extraterrestrial encounters. And we also talked about mechanisms that people can use to deal with the psychological impact of their experiences, and then the importance of seeking professional help and providing resources to people who have had this. So it's important to understand the psychological impact of the extraterrestrial experience. So this is why I'm just having this conversation tonight, and hopefully this video gets shared and people hear some of the things that we're talking about. But we're going to go in more details in all of this, especially when we do some of our Project Black information and stuff like that. So if you feel value in some of the stuff we talked about, then that is one of the things that we're going to go down a rabbit hole. We're going to go down that rabbit hole, and we're going to tackle it, and we're going to do some wonderful stuff. And so hopefully, another thing I want to throw out there, I don't know if you all I'm reading this book called The Alien Interview. Oh my God, that thing is, I'm just started, and I'm doing my Pomodoro things to it to read it. But that thing is off the chart. Jen says the tapper see, Rod. What are you saying? You want to hear about it, see about it? You want me to put it back up? What are you saying, oh great one? Here it is. It comes in two styles. One is the actual seal of the Black League of Alien Contact Knowledge, and the other one, it has the actual logo itself. I mean, not the actual, but the our icon. But this is what we call our official seal of what we're doing. And like I said, notice the distinctive look of what we're going to be teaching and talking about. It's going to get deep as fuck. I'm serious. And we're going to be doing some things. Yeah, Nicole says she's reading that too. Yeah, I'm telling you some good stuff. I just started. I'm doing what we call a Pomodoro, where I, read it 25 minutes a minute. I mean, 25-5, then 25-5. So I'm going to do some more tonight before I go to bed and get that. I'll be going swimming the aqua aerobics tomorrow with the old folks or people that's older than me, and be getting in the water. And that's been really helping out on the joints and knees and doing all that stuff into the water. So that's been pretty good from there. If anyone else want to do any type of contributions to what we're doing, Project Black, all of those things, now will be the time. Now will be the appreciative before we get out of here, so we can acknowledge you all the way. So tonight's, what do you think about tonight's show? We were just talking, Matt, contact me at whythebigsecret.com. That's the contact email, CONTACT at whythebigsecret.com. Please put in your phone number and I will call, and that would be Matt Hoodwink. Give me a holler. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show of talking and giving some points and giving you indicators of how deep we're about to go down the rabbit hole with this new phenomena. And I'm going to email you, Roderick. All right. So we're going to call Matt out next show. If he does not, it's contact at whythebigsecret.com, contact CONTACT, and please put in a telephone number, man, a live 954 number or something, if that's the one you have. All that good stuff. And so anywhere else, anything else? Y'all been looking at the products and everything? Cool. Anybody want to order anything? Like I said, we can check that out, and hopefully you do get you some items and support the channel, support everything else. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so right now. That'll be good. We are actually about 100 and 30 people away from 11,000 subscribers. You know, we did our 10,000 subscribers a few weeks back. So 11,000, we're about to hit that as well. YJ said this was a much needed topic to bring up tonight. More focus on experiences is the future of ufology and understanding phenomena. Absolutely, 100%. And like I say, there's so much we can focus on what's going on in the sky. We can focus on the freaking balloons that ain't really UAPs, all of that stuff. But who is going to focus on what people on the ground? Yes. We are planning to make the brand NFT, Savan. I don't know how to do that yet. I actually was going to talk with Billy when I get up there next week. But if it's something that you know how to do and can direct us, then then we can definitely do that too. We are I plan on taking the concept itself to make an NFT as well. You know, it would be the brand itself. But anyway, if you know how to do something like that or some of the basics or something, Savan, is it Savan? Savion? I'm sorry. You can, once again, contact at whythebigsecret.com. You know, I need everybody's help. We're trying to do it, but please, now if you're not, you know, don't have the information to really pull it off, then I understand. The suggestion is good, though. I really appreciate it. But if you do, can you put that book back up again? Alien Interview. Basically, this book supposedly be a real verified account of a lady who was at Area 51, not Area 51, but she actually interviewed one of the aliens from Roswell that crashed, the lead pilot of one of the ships, who then explained just about everything it could be about our origin, what's going on, how do we see things. And it is so freaking good. It is really, really good. All right, so I need to go. See you guys later. Olivia, thank you. Marla, I put the book up. Yes, I did. Great show. I told you I will buy those 6 back for 20. What 6? Area 54 is where the action is. Good night from there. So we will be ready to get out of here. So if not, let me know. I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting the show, being here tonight, and all those good things. You could have been any other else, but you chose to be here right now. And with that being said, thank you for being there. So hopefully I look for the emails for those of you who are going to be contacting me. We're going to be on Billy Carson's show tomorrow. I'm supposed to have, I think, Doc B Sirius as the guest. If not, we would kind of duplicate some of this information in a more grander scale tomorrow on the big show, you know, where there's more people, because I think they need to hear this stuff too. So I like to give it to you guys first, test it, you know, pretty much. And if all good, then if you think it's some good information that I can do on a bigger audience, let me know. Put it in a chat. If you think tonight's information is good for forbidden knowledge people, which some of you are, we're all in the same community, then we'll definitely do that. We'll definitely do that. Okay. All right. So with that being said, it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I love each and every one of you. Hug somebody today. Hug a bug if you want to. If you ain't got nothing to hug, but hug something and love on it as much as you should. And tonight we will get out of here and do what we have to do. So with that being said, hopefully I look into the shirts in our website and somebody have bought them the tapestry, the wall thing, or they bought a shirt, especially of the Project Black stuff. We just put it up, all of those things. But we would do that. Good night, everyone.